What's up, Hokie Nation, and welcome into another Brent Pry press conference breakdown as Virginia Tech, believe it or not, looks for its first ever victory in the 7-5-7 this weekend as the Hokies hit the road for Norfolk to take on Old Dominion. Now, obviously, a large portion of the fan base, understandably so, would like to see this series come to a close. What are Brent Pry's thoughts? Let's see.
Yeah, honestly, it's the next game on the schedule for us. We got to go be 1-0. A lot of that stuff's worked out long ago. For me and our team, it's about going and being 1-0 this week, winning one on the road. At night, they got a good environment over there. I know we've got some, a group of fans, some Hokies over there that will be in attendance, and we'll need them, to be loud and be present.
And is this series, for a lack of a better term, a bad idea? Here's Pry's thoughts on that.
Yeah, to be honest, David, it's just out of my control right now. These contracts are in place well ahead of time, and I don't worry about things I can't control. And we've got to be the type of team that can go to Old Dominion and win the football game. That's who we need to be, and we'll prepare all week that way. And it's a challenge to win on the road. Period. It's a challenge to win a night game on the road. And it's a challenge to win against a school in your own state on the road. So there's a lot at play there for us, a lot of motivation, to have a great week and go play well.
So now that that's kind of out of the way, what are Brent Pry's first thoughts on the Monarchs as a whole? They're 0-2 on the field, but they've only lost both games to both South Carolina and East Carolina by a combined 9 points. What stands out? Here's Pry.
By the time we left the field Sunday evening, we've got those guys broken down. A group that has played two really good football games, could be 2-0 rather than 0-2. They had a chance to win both of them at the end. Good contested games, and we'll have our hands full down at their place.
And what about ODU's offensive scheme? Bryce Duke, by the way, that kind of jumps off the page. Here's Pry.
Yeah, they're spreading it out. They got an interesting scheme, and there's certain plays that they execute really well. It's a numbers game. They spread you out, and they've had success running the ball at times. And I think they have to be able to do that. They want to do that. And then there's obviously the one-on-one matchups on the perimeter. Sometimes there's no depth to the defense out there, and if they break a tackle, it's an explosive play. But they're getting a lot from the sideline, a lot of check with me stuff, trying to put themselves in the best play call. It's familiar to us from last year, so they do a nice job with it. It was a successful offense at Fordham, with that quarterback, that play caller, and it's unique, it's different. It's not what you see all the time.
Now flipping to this Virginia Tech team. It's no secret that the Hokies got off to a slow start this past weekend against Marshall. And a big reason why was they were 1 for 9 on third down in the first half. Now they finished 5 for 16 and were 4 for 7 in the second half. What changed between the first and second periods of play? Here's Pry.
Yeah, honestly, I think the biggest difference was we were off schedule in the first half. Again, too many TFLs, couple early down incompletions where we were third and long. You look at our third downs in the first half versus the second half, much more manageable in the second half. And that's not that's not anything that most people wouldn't recognize. I mean, you got to stay on schedule. We did not do a good job in the first half of that.
And weirdly enough, it still kind of seems like Virginia Tech is trying to find itself offensively. Why is that the case? And for them to find that identity, what do they have to do? Here's Brent Pry.
Yeah, I think we're best when Kyron's at his best, and that's that's play selection, that's Kyron, that's the offensive line, that's the wideouts, it's all of it. But we got to get Kyron going, get him comfortable, get him playing at his best. He's done that at times in these last 2 weeks, and I think there's been some times that he knows and we know we got to do better. And some of it's some of it's kind of dispersed among a couple other spots. I don't know that it's any one thing, but we got to play to his strengths and get him coming out the gate well.
We've touched on the linebacking rotation as well the last couple of weeks. Well, for the first time on the depth chart, there are no changes. Is Pry comfortable with that group? Let's see.
Yeah, again, I think when you look at inside linebacker, it's we're kind of playing that out by committee a little bit. There's four guys, and even with McDonald, a fifth guy that that are capable. And Kelly got a bunch of snaps, a few that I'm sure he'd like to have back. Caleb Woodson played pretty well, had one significant misfit, but played well on teams, and you'll feel good about him in there. J.K., Sam played better in week 2 than he did in week 1. But those guys, I think, Coach Marv and I both have very high standards at that position, and we got to continue to get better there as well.
And then last but not least, we saw Bashaw Tootin off of the kick return unit last week. I think Pry and Stu Holt and company want to kind of save his legs for the offensive drive, which is certainly understandable. So is that going to kind of continue going into this weekend? Let's see.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a week-by-week decision. We felt like we needed to get him going, get our run game going. He's certainly a, important ingredient in that. And, obviously he's a threat on kickoff return, and we want to be able to do that as well. And that may happen this weekend. It may not.
And then just one more thing to wrap it up. Brody Meadows, who missed last week against Marshall, will be full go this weekend as the Hokies head to SB Ballard Stadium to take on Old Dominion. 6 o'clock kickoff on ESPN+. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you very soon.